Hi, I'm Maya from Book from Dreams and welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to talk about 3 romances I read recently. I haven't been in a epic fantasy, dark fantasy reading kind of mood, even though I have so many on my TBR currently and stuff that I'm supposed to read. So I have been reading a lot of romances, so I'm just going to talk about the 3 of them that I've read recently. If you can hear the sounds of the lawnmower in the background, it's the season. What can you do? Anytime we have been having a lot of rain, so anytime the rain stops and there's a little bit of sunshine, people mow their lawns, so that's the noise. Alright, the first book I'm going to talk about is That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Human by Kimberly Lemming. This is book 3 in her Meet Mishaps series. This is the sequel to That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon, right? And the other one was That Time I Got Drunk and Yeeted a Love Potion at a Werewolf. This series was self-published, but this third one that I'm going to talk about has been traditionally published, and the first 2 are also going to be traditionally published soon, so great for the author. As you can guess from the title, these are fantasy romances, and in this one we follow 2 characters. We follow Cherry and we follow Dante. So we have met Dante in the previous 2 books and we know that he's a dragon, and I'm gonna try not to spoil the first 2 books because I want you to read them because they're really fun. So Dante has seen how his friends have mates and whatnot, and he wanted to mate for himself, so he goes on a quest to find his mate. Cherry is somehow connected to our characters from the first 2 books. She has been kidnapped by a dragon 5 years ago, I think, and has spent all this time alone on this island in this tower. That sort of kind of affected her a little bit, you know. Her last escape attempt has been thwarted by Dante. He can control the weather, so when she was trying to sort of sail out of the island, a rogue storm came and destroyed everything. So she sees this new dragon landing on her island and transforming into a very handsome man, so she decides to drug him and use him for escape, and that is basically what happens. And then from then on, the 2 of them are going around on some ridiculous adventure looking for mythical creatures, because this is something that is of Cherry's interest, and thus, since Dante immediately upon seeing her, he's like, oh, she's my mate, and he's all in from the beginning. He's so besotted with her, and he just does whatever she wants. And what she wants is to try to get home, in a way, but without telling the dragon where she's from, because she's not really all in at the beginning. She's very mistrustful because of her previous experiences. But basically throughout the book, they spend time together figuring out if this can work. Basically just Dante trying to convince her to stay with him and be his mate, and her rediscovering the world after 5 years of imprisonment. So this story is fun, it's chaotic, there are so many things in it. There's adventure, there's romance, there's smut, there's a lot of humor, because, you know, Dante being also a victim of imprisonment, you have to read the first 2 books to find out what happened. He's also a bit unsure on how to treat humans, and so he sort of talks to his friends through a magic mirror, whatever, to sort of get tips and what to do and how to, like, right some wrongs or whatnot. And it's hilarious because he's talking to a werewolf and another demon and a bunch of other ogres and other mythical creatures who were like, yeah, you should do this, you should do that, and those scenes were very humorous. There's also a talking sword that we've met before. There is action, and there is a guaranteed happily ever after, which is, if this is something you need to know for the book, it is. This whole series is just chaotic fun, and I'm really, really enjoying them. I'm looking forward to the sequel. The next romance I want to talk about is Eclipse the Moon by Jessie McCallick. Might have mispronounced that, sorry. This is book 2 in the Starlight Shadow series. The book 1 was We Hunt the Stars, I believe. So, you need to know what happened in book 1 to read book 2. So this is a series in which we follow a group of bounty hunters. In the first book, they have been sort of tasked by their former, do we say enemies? Yes. So there used to be an intergalactic war between these 2 races, humans and the Valovians. After the war ended, you know, there's like peace, but there's also tension, and there's also some people who want this war to continue or just restart for reasons unknown of yet. Only know that they want to restart the war, not why. So in the first book, they have been tasked by the Valovians to sort of find something, and that something turned out to be the nephew of the Volovian's empress, who is not a good person. Neither are the humans from the bots, but whatever. They save this kid, and in the process of that, these two different crews, the bounty hunter human crew and the Volovian, they're like human, but they have like powers. So, you know, some have telekinesis, some can transport, someone can read minds. So there are some different powers that these aliens have, but they're human-like. So they have sort of melded together and formed one crew. And from the first book, we follow the two captains getting together. In the second one, we follow Key, who is a hacker. She was a soldier, and she is now a bounty hunter. And we follow Varo, who is not second in command, but he's a very integral part of the Volovian's crew. Because of his power, which is very rare. He can feel other people's emotions, and he can read minds if he needs to. And this is very rare in the Volovian society, and for that he's sort of shunned a little bit, but very well from the society in general, but very well accepted in his crew. So the two of them sort of had a rocky start in the first book, because Key is very open with her emotions, and she was immediately, upon seeing him, oh, I like you, you are handsome and whatnot. But Varo is very reserved, and he basically rebuffs her. And throughout the first book, Key's feelings have grown, because, you know, everyone has shown how good they are and how capable they are at their jobs, you know, how a good person they are. At the beginning of the second book, Key needs space from Varo to sort of sort out her emotions so she can be more professional, because she's very keen on them being able to work together to have a platonic friendship, since he doesn't like her back. So she makes a plan to spend some time on a space station where there is a sort of suspicious event happening between the two races that she might think can hold information about this big bad guy that they are hunting throughout the series. So she basically, with the knowledge of her captain, sneaks out and stays on the station to, you know, do her hacking thing and trying to find the bad guy and whatnot. But of course, Varo, upon learning this, demands to go with her to be her protector, and for good reasons, because even though she is a soldier and whatnot, she's not a very good soldier. I mean, she can fight, but she's not on the level that all the others are. So there were points that she needed help, and it was very good that Varo was there. So throughout the story, the two of them are doing their espionage thing and trying to, you know, find clues and whatnot. And of course, get into enormous amounts of trouble and then try to, you know, save people and everybody. And this story is a really cool sci-fi romance with like a lot of political thriller espionage thing happening in the background. The romance was good, but there was angst, which I usually like angst. And there was some really good angst, because at some point Key just tells Varo why she left. Because Varo is very respectful and not reading other people's thoughts. And she tells him, like, I really like you, and I wanted to get away because I couldn't really deal with my emotions and be professional and whatnot. And he basically just stares at her for 5 minutes and then leaves their room, which, you know, created an interesting situation. But there is a bit of a frustration with this romance, because there is a cultural difference between the humans and the Volovians. And because of this cultural difference, there was some, I don't want to say hesitation from Varo's part, because he wanted to be with her, but he had this sort of strange, strong sense of honor and duty of what he was supposed to be doing, and which sort of clashes with who Key is as like a person, because he's like, I'm supposed to protect you and you were in danger, and that's why I can't be with you because I am unworthy. And Key was like, well, I can take care of myself and you didn't have to do all those things, and putting this sort of expectations on me is not cool. They had to work a lot and communicate a lot to solve their differences, which they did. They kept communicating throughout the entire book without, it just, that little cultural thing was a bit outside of that communication, but every time, you know, they were like, they were very professional and polite. There wasn't any like unnecessary melodrama, and that was something I really appreciated in the story. I'm enjoying this series. I was so excited to get to the third one, but it's not out yet. So it's gonna be out, I think, by the end of the month. Ooh, I forgot to mention, there were some really cool tropes in this one. So you had forced proximity, because at this station they had to stay in a tiny, tiny room that had only one bed. So sharing a bed is one of the tropes, which is always fun. And the last book I want to talk about is, it has a stupid name, which I did not like the name. I like the names from the previous books in this series. So this third book is His Curvy Rejected Mate by Kate C. Wells. So this is book 4 in the 5-pack series. This is a paranormal romance series in which we follow different wolf shifter packs, in which our main characters basically, all the female characters are sort of low on the pack roster, whatever, what do you call that? Pack hierarchy. They are not treated well by the rest of the pack, and when their heat strikes, they recognize their mates, and their mates are usually someone who's at the top of the pack. So in this one, we follow Flora and we follow Alec Cameron, is that what his name is? Whatever. So Flora is on the bottom of the pack hierarchy because she is an aberration in the shifter world, in that she's fat. Because there are no fat shifters, and they're usually supposed to be skinny and thin and just, you know. So when she was born and as she was growing up, people were treating her. Her parents tried to treat her well, but they were usually like, you know, comments and actions that created, as any fat person knows, problems with self-image and confidence and whatnot. So throughout her childhood, and she's now I think 22 when the story starts, she has been basically treated horribly, you know, either without giving her food or making her do stuff like to be more active, to like lose the weight and whatnot. And just whenever she would do things around the pack, there would be comments that would be just like, you know, just awful. So like the only like good thing she had in her life is Alec. Now Alec is he's not the alpha of the pack, but he's sort of one of the couple of young men who are sort of expected to fight to become the alpha of the pack, which is something that he doesn't want, but let's not leave that for the side. Now Alec, since high school, Alec and Flora have been sort of sneaking out and having encounters, secret encounters that nobody knew about. And we sort of start this book with this encounter. And this is like sort of the first problem that I found with this book, because these secret encounters were written in such a way that it seems that they were more for Alec's pleasure. We do sort of see the encounter through Flora's eyes and whatnot, and we see that she sort of enjoys this, that she does enjoy this, but this is sort of kink territory that the author did not want to get into. And I think if she went into the kink territory, that their encounters wouldn't have been as problematic as they are, because to me they seemed like the encounters were for his pleasure and for Flora's shame, because he treated her just absolutely horribly. Those encounters were the only time that they would speak. Speak was like get on your knees and do stuff and nothing else. Like he wouldn't talk to her besides that. And you know, the author wrote Alec to be like cold and not communicative with people, and as you read the book you find out why that is. But it just rubbed me the wrong way, and I just did not really root for this couple as I did in the previous books in this series. So when Flora's heat strikes and she recognizes Alec as her mate, he of course rejects her, but not for reasons that like she's different, but because she had sex with someone else, and he's like, okay, no, sloppy seconds and whatnot, and he basically walks away. And at that point Flora is just fed up with everyone treating her like shit and everyone making her feel horrible, so she decides to leave and find the pack from book 2, because this is like a rumor of this pack that is accepting of everyone who goes their way. So she starts to make her way towards them. So of course when Alec finds out that Flora left, he goes after her, and together they go on this journey to this pack and they try to work things out. Because what I do like about this series, that the male characters realize quite quickly that they fucked up, and they spend the rest of the book groveling and begging for forgiveness and trying to change themselves so that they would be accepted by their mate. But so another thing that I did not like about this romance is his reasons for not treating her well are just completely stupid. So like there's the whole issue of them not kissing, because when they started their secret meetings, there was kissing, but then at one point it stopped, and the reasoning for that was like he was like, well, your lips are too close to your neck, and I thought that would bite you and claim you, and I didn't want to do that. And it's just stupid. I enjoy the series and very conscious of its flaws, but this one was kind of like, no, this was not. And there's of course lots of fat phobia and just self-hate, and just the world that the author created, this pack world, is not good for women. I am now at this point that I do not want to read stuff like that, and it's not fun to read because women are relegated to like women's jobs, cooking, cleaning, and whatnot. And we do find with each book that our main characters do progress and change. They work on themselves, They work on not feeling like shit, trying to find self-worth and trying to find themselves, outside of their mates. This happened in every book. So that is a good point for this series. But the world in general, I would like to read a romance where women are not treated as second-class citizens. So, yeah. So those are the 3 romances I read recently. If you have read them and you want to share your thoughts, please do so down below. If you have some romances to recommend, please do so in the comments. I'm obviously in the mood. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. If you like this video, press the like button. There are some links in the description box for you to check out. Also, check out Christina's video. She did a recent wrap-up of the Hidden Legacy series by Ilona Andrews. So check that out. Links everywhere. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!